What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the VAR Room where Americans talk soccer. This is episode 10. I'm your co-host, June. Alongside with me is...
Idris. Come on, you Ganesh.
Huge thanks to our new subscribers. If you haven't, please smash that subscribe and like button for our YouTube algorithm. Today, we're going to talk about how to sustain young talents in Premier League. So, Idris, why don't you start it off for us?
Well, I'll say sustaining young talent, I think that's the perfect time to start getting young talent involved in teams. We've seen a lot of great young talent emerge. I think the wave of young talent and given opportunities kind of burst onto the scene to Mbappe at Monaco when he was just 17. And he burst onto the scenes moving mad. He was moving a madness. And you started
Madness.
seeing, I mean, there's been youngsters in teams like over the previous years, but it's been like one or two with like very senior players. But now you have teams where you have like three, four, five youngsters. And I think it's a good idea to start incorporating them early. As we can see, the market can be a madness right now. Players are going for an arm and a leg with a helicopter added on top of that. So using homegrown talent, that's pretty good. You save some money, if they turn out to be beasts, you can grow them up. And if that's your business model to sell your young talent, you're making money. Just look at Ajax. I think they've made over 200 odd million over the past two seasons selling their academy graduates. So
Crazy.
that's good business. And their graduates they get a lot of playing minutes. Like if you look at Frankie De Jong, like he's only 22, I assume, and he's probably one of the best midfielders in the world, which is insane, and he has a good amount of game time under his belt. Same thing with Matthias de Ligt at Juventus. But I think Premier League are starting to look at that. You can see Chelsea last season. I mean, they had the transfer ban, but they had to start incorporating youngsters, and it's a good sight to see, and I'm excited for it. How about you?
Definitely, Idris. So we could see definitely this shift in the debut age. Like we couldn't imagine this happening 20 years ago. It was when a player debuts at 18 or 19, we would have been shocked, as like Premier League starting lineup. But now it just happens every day. We got these young players coming up from the academy, and it's such a normal way of teams investing in their new talents, and they just naturally bring up these players, and I think it's very good to see that. Um, like Neymar, Mbappe, they all had debut at very early age. Cristiano as well, and all these players are very successful. On the other hand, I wanted to ask you this question, Idris. Do you think playing, getting a debut at such an early age, do you think that can negatively affect players?
I think it can go both ways, to be honest. And I think the only way it can negatively affect players is if the manager is giving faith in you, you go in. It's either you have a really shitty game, you probably get a red card, and your team loses. That can weigh on a player. Like even if you're not a young talent, like going in off the bench and getting a red card, your team loses. That's really hard. And like for young talents at like 17, 18, that can probably derail their confidence. And if the manager isn't confident in them, kind of pushes them to the side, I think that can ruin their career. So it can play both ways. On the other hand, if they come in, they do great, manager has more faith in them, they become a star and it's their life changes. So it can go both ways.
That's a good take. It definitely depends on their performance and their team and manager as well. So what I usually see for these players is that they debut in the first division of England. They get a couple games in and they get sent loan to championship. And usually if they're coming from a good team, they start in championship and they get to play a lot of hours and they get to show themselves. But once they don't, so this is the time where they have to really shine. And there were a lot of successful players that really did their job well in the championship, proved themselves, showed why they should be back in the Premiership, be back in their first squad, and start for the lineup. Start for their own home team. But there's actually a lot of players that don't even get to that stage. They just wander around in championship, and they don't get anywhere. They always there's a lot of players actually stay in championship and been there for like more than 10 years. So it's very tough out there to move up back to Premiership, and I think it's also very important to send them out on a loan at a good team, not like good team where the players can develop. And it's also very important for the home team to always keep an eye on the player and see where he can develop, where he can improve, and just provide, because the players are still part of their home team crew. So it's really up to their home team, to keep an eye on them and then provide what he needs and give them the support they need.
Yeah, I agree. Like we've seen it with a lot of teams. You see their academy, they probably get like a call up to the bench on the first team. Then other those championship teams start looking at them like, huh, interesting. He's on the bench for these big games. Like even though they didn't play, they probably want to get him in. And if the player wants some playing time, get some experience, championship is a great place to do that. They have a lot of games to play. And that's always the goal, go out on loan and come back a different beast. Like only a few can break into the first team. And we've seen a few over the past 2 seasons, and we'll get into that. But there's one that just left a huge team who didn't want him. Arguably, who didn't want him, but he is moving a madness this season. And if you know, you know. And I'm talking about Lamptey from Brighton. Whoo, what a player. What are your initial thoughts, June?
Tariq Lamptey, Tariq Lamptey, Tariq Lamptey, Tariq Lamptey. Man, this guy is madness. He's from Chelsea originally, signed a new contract for Brighton for 3 million euros. And the Chelsea fans are saying Tariq didn't want to stay in Chelsea, right?
Yeah.
And that's true. Yeah, Tariq didn't want to stay in Chelsea because his playing time was not guaranteed. But man, I think they should have kept him. They should have provided him, better offer or more playing time so Tariq can change his mind. I think it was they should have recognized the talent. Who do they have now? As a right back, Reece James
and Azpilicueta, but Azpilicueta is getting old. He's not getting any younger.
Exactly. Azpilicueta is getting old, and Reece James, he's pretty good. He's developing a lot of good talent. And we just saw his stunner shot against I forgot which team, but that goal was unbelievable. And but I think Tariq Lamptey is he can move the ball, and he has a pinpoint accuracy cross. And when he was playing Chelsea, he was outclassing everyone. He was outpacing everyone. They couldn't touch him. Chelsea players are getting frustrated, and man, oh boy, I think Chelsea fans are regretting that they let Tariq Lamptey go. What do you think, Idris?
Yeah, I agree. I think the Chelsea fans say he didn't want to stay, but if you have to look at it in terms of squad depth. So now they have Reece James and Azpilicueta that he's pretty versatile. He can play on the right side or the left side. He's getting old, but again, they have the Premier League, the Champions League, the EFL Cup, the FA Cup. Those are 4 competitions that they have, and every team will want to go for all competitions. I think they could have guaranteed Lamptey some play time as a backup to Reece James. I agree. Reece James is young also, but
yeah,
he's going to be playing a lot of games, and I don't think he just has the legs for it. And same thing with Azpilicueta. I think he's their versatility man when someone gets injured, even though he's the captain of the club. Like when someone gets injured, he's that guy that comes in. If a center back gets injured, bam, he can come in. And that kind of takes away from the right back option without Lamptey. And I think he would have been, even though he would have been a number 2, he's still very young. He would have been a great number 2.
yeah.
And it reaches that stage where like when Reece James putting in like poor performances, like every player does, like they have a stretch of games where it's like poor performances. That's when Lamptey can come in and be like, yo, he's putting in poor performances. I can come in, do a good job, and you have to start thinking about it. Like, do you want to keep picking him as your first choice? Then competition goes. That's how you grow your fullbacks. That's how you grow players to competition. And I think they honestly lost out because he is some player. quick on the ball, like you said. His crosses are pinpoint accurate. He's direct. He can take on players. Like, what else can I say, man? He's a great player.
Just looking at his first 3 games, man, like what I feel about Tariq Lamptey, what I learned from him is that one player can really change the team, man. Like Brighton, they just had a couple of signings, right? Lamptey and Lallana and a couple other signings that we don't really know about. But you know what? When I see Brighton play now, like from compared to last season, like they've changed so much just because of Lamptey. He's the one that starts the attacks, and he's the one that starts the he's the one that has the passing abilities to the center or in the penalty box, like pinpoint accuracy. So Brighton is looking dangerous in the attacking side now just because of Tariq Lamptey. And I can see the amount of passion he has for the game, and every time I can see him giving 100%. And he's, you know what I love about Tariq Lamptey is that he enjoys the game, man. Like I'm sure everyone does in APL, but this guy, like he's comfortable. He's trying out new stuff on there. Like he is so comfortable there. He is confident. He is humble. Jamie Carragher gave him a shout out that he's an unbelievable player. And you know, we've only seen 3 games from him in the EPL. I mean, I think 11 games so far, but this season 3 games. But I think this guy is going to be something soon. I think every big club, including like France and Germany or La Liga, they're gonna want to sign him, and we got to keep an eye on this guy for sure.
Yeah, and I guess again, it comes down to the manager. I think the Brighton manager has confidence in him because he's a young player coming from a fairly big team, you know, like
Yeah,
players like that, you kind of ease them in, but he's put him right in. He said, I've had faith in you. Like he's given him the playing time, and he's shown the faith that the manager
mm,
is given in him, and it's always great to see that. And I think Chelsea have lost one out. I mean, they'll probably have what's called a percentage, a sell-on clause there. So if they ever sell him, they'll probably get some percentage. But if he keeps playing like this, I could see him going for 60 odd million in a year or two.
yeah, definitely. Wait, Idris, question. So you're saying that when Tariq gets sold to other club, Chelsea would still get money from it from the
Yeah,
deal,
I'm assuming they have some
some
percentage or the
clause.
sell. Yeah, some clause on that. I don't think
Ooh,
they went
okay.
for. I don't think they went for a buyback clause, but I think they went for a sell-on clause. Probably 10%, but 10% of 60 million is still a decent amount. But I think Chelsea really lost out because
Yeah,
they could have had 2 great fullbacks. Because you know, great teams just have great depth. You can look at Real Madrid, like they just sold like 3 fullbacks and they still have like a decent amount of fullbacks that are good. And I think that's the model. And I think Chelsea kind of lost out. But let's see how this goes. I think he's going to be a real talent. Definitely deserves a shout for like young player of the year already, even though it's early on. But
yeah,
if he
yeah.
keeps going like this, whew, he's going to give Trent a run for his money.
Oh yeah, yo, he's competing with Trent Alexander in his he's gonna be competing with him in his England national team. Aaron Wan-Bissaka, Kyle Walker, and Reece James. Man, he's gonna be competing with some top talents there, but I think he's gonna be up there soon.
Yeah, definitely. He would be up there. Like, but I don't know. What's his name? Gareth Southgate. He's not. I don't know how he's still England manager. We can get into that another time. But I think he has favors. He does favoritism.
Favorites?
But we'll see how that goes out. Yeah, I think Lamptey deserves an England call up soon if he keeps playing like this.
Definitely did. Very soon, very soon.
Yeah.
So, Idris, let me ask you this. So, when we think about Lamptey, uh, it worked very well for him. He found a new club that has a trust in him. Um, what about Gnabry? What happened to him? What went wrong with Arsenal with keeping him, and what was the main source of problem of losing him?
I think the big one that was in the news was he was homesick because again he's German.
Yeah,
But Arsene Wenger definitely saw the talent in him. at the age of 17, I think, Arsene Wenger offered him a new contract. He wanted to keep him because he saw the talent. I
Mm.
think he did the traditional route, went on loan to I think West Brom,
Yeah.
and the West Brom manager said that Gnabry is not good enough to start for West Brom. And
He was wrong.
I think that was Tony Pulis at the time. He said that Gnabry didn't get game time during his spell on loan, didn't get a lot of game time. And I think Arsenal, he had a lot of competition at Arsenal. I think that's when Alexis Sanchez was there. Theo Walcott was still playing pretty decent. I think Ozil was having a great time. And he was getting some chances, but he wasn't getting enough. Everybody knew the talent was there. And I think
Yeah.
Arsene Wenger saw that too, and he wanted to tie him down to a contract to like again long term because even though he wasn't getting game time, he was kind of telling him like, "I want you here. I kind of believe in you," and wanted to give him like give it a year or two, you be in the starting lineup, you know. But again, prospect, he wants game time. Goes to Germany, gets some game time. Bayern kind of buy him through a back door
He
because I
was
think he went.
18
Yeah,
with Arsenal. Yeah.
I think he went to Werder Bremen first, played about 6 months, then Bayern bought him. And you can see him now, a couple years later, arguably one of the best wingers in the world. So you
Yeah.
win some, you lose some. And I think with that one, Arsenal lost. I have to say, we lost big with that one. But I'm excited. We have some new talent coming up, and we've tied them down to contract. So excited for that.
Yeah. I think it's very important for the clubs to identify the talent and make a long-term plan. Make a long-term plan why we need this. Ask themselves why we need this player, and just keep a close eye on them. And then they got to take a risk. You know, they got to take the risk to make a long-term investment on this player. Keep an eye on them, like I said, and just give them more chances. I'd say, like, I think the transition period of moving to the from the first team to like sending on the loan, I think that's too quick for most of the players. Most of the players, young players, don't really get a chance to even play in the first lineup. I mean, I understand because coaches already have their lineup in mind, but I think there's got to be a better way of incorporating these younger players. You know, I think they got to be more exposed to bigger games. Like only way to test these players is like put them under pressure, see if they can sustain. So I think like for example Tariq Lamptey, I think he could have got more chances at Chelsea. Um, people were I think people were gonna see more um, good side of him, you know, see more talents of him, and they didn't see that early enough, and they let him go. So, you know, but like you said, you let go some, you know.
Yeah.
So
Let me ask you this. I do agree with what you said, and I think there can be a better way of incorporating this, but let me ask you this. When it comes to fans, I know there's some fans that watch Academy games. I don't personally watch Academy games, but I kind of
mm,
see some clips of some of the good players. And some of those people that watch Academy games know when they see a talent watching those games and when they call up to the first team and they see them like they see why they get called up. For the
yeah.
fan, so my question is, do you think some of the fans are harsh? So those fans that don't necessarily watch those academy games, when they see a new name from the academy in the starting lineup or on the bench and coming off the bench, do you think they're too harsh and asking their question like, why the fuck is the manager doing this? Like, and when the manager wants to give them a chance, do you think they're a little too harsh on that end? Because again, social media, all these players have social media, and it can kind of affect the players because even though they don't say it on TV, I bet you some of them read these comments, you know?
Yeah. Mm.
So do you think the fans are too harsh in that sense? So the fans that don't watch academy games and are kind of questioning some players that move up, that why is the manager doing this?
Definitely, yeah, good question. Definitely depends on the how royal the supporters are. You know, for example, Spurs, we're definitely the most royal supporters in the world. So we would love to see the young players playing. and we will always support them. And we always love to see fresh new legs on the pitch. And but just to answer your question, I guess, is I think people are open-minded in general, but it depends on how the teams are doing. If the team's not doing well and fans are in a stressed out mood, I think they're more prone to become angry at those little substitutions and trial and error by the manager. Because they're like, let's say you're during a relegation battle, like where is the time to do all this? I understand where the fans are coming from, but personally, I think it's necessary. That's how you put these players, you make mistakes, you learn from it, you find out who's gonna be the next new talent for the club. Yeah, for me, I think it's important, it's crucial, it's necessary to put them on the pitch. And I think but I understand where the madness is coming from, the anger of the fans when the substitution comes in, unexpected substitution for young players. But yeah, I think it's necessary. What about you, Idris?
Yeah, I agree. I think it's necessary for the players' development because if they don't get a chance, you never know. There's always that hidden gem.
Yeah,
There's
yeah,
always that, and a perfect example of this is Bukayo Saka for Arsenal. I remember this generally. I think it was a Europa League game or Premier League game. I think we were drawing the game. Our
yeah.
$72 million signing in Nicolas Pepe was on the bench,
Mm,
but Unai Emery decided to bring in this 18-year-old winger from the academy
mm,
and leave our $72 million player on the bench. And
yeah.
everyone was going insane. They were going mad. They were like, why is he not playing? Why is he not playing our most expensive signing? Blah, blah, blah. But oh boy, he turned out to be good. Like if the
Mm,
manager didn't give him that chance,
yeah.
who would have known? So it's always a risk, but it's high risk, high reward kind of situation.
Yeah, look at that. I mean, yeah, just going off that, Jafe Tanganga from Tottenham. Tottenham ran out of defenders to play. They were all getting injured, and they had a game against Liverpool, and Jafe, his dream match came true, and he went on there, saved a goal using his body, and played an exceptional game. And fans loved him afterwards. And that first impression of him was so strong in my memories, in my mind. So I think I will always think of him as like a pretty solid player, can rely on him. And yeah, like pressure makes diamond, right?
Yeah. So
So it's necessary, man. It's necessary.
I agree. It's necessary. It's the evil that has to happen.
But
But
dude, I think people, coaches in general, my conclusion is that they don't put these players in these high pressure position often. They don't.
yeah,
They should.
yeah, I agree. I think they're trying to protect them because they know the fans can get out of hand, but sometimes you have to make that ultimate sacrifice. Let us know in the comments below what you think. Do you think managers should start taking more risk in high pressure games with these youngsters? Like a youngster from Chelsea going into a game against Barcelona, like one of the big teams in Europe. Like, do you think they should start putting them under these pressure points? No? Find the
Let
next
us know,
big
guys.
talent. Let us know. Well, to before we end off here, I know this is getting a little lengthy, but we're trying to keep it short. All right, Jin. Last question for you is:
Yep.
in the Premier League, name the top three youngsters you're most excited for this season.
Whew. Definitely Tariq Lamptey. That's number one. And number two is Meslier, goalie from Leeds United.
Oh yeah,
Man,
he's a
his
beast.
his build up, man, like you said, he knows where to pass the ball. He is he knows how to save the ball, man. He's really good. And I would say third new young player is what do we got? I would say Ferran Torres in Manchester City.
Oh, good shout. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he was really good at Valencia, and there were some issues with Valencia club and him, and Man City saw the opportunity, signed him, and although they lost against Leicester City today, I think he had a pretty good game, and he's got a lot of potential. He's very young, and yeah, I think he'll be one of the key players soon in Man City, helping out Aguero and Sterling. What about you, Idris? What do you think?
Of course, definitely Lamptey. Like, I've only seen him play like 3 times, but he's
Lamptey, your
incredible.
man.
He's incredible. Second would be I have to go for my boy Bukayo Saka because his versatility is insane. If you don't know who he is, go check him out. He can play. I've seen him play so many positions. He's played left back. He's played center mid. He's played left winger. He's played right winger. He's played as a fullback, attacking fullback in a 3 setup. He is so versatile. So I'm excited to see him. And the last one, I'll probably say, probably Mason Greenwood because he is an incredible youngster in striking the ball. I'm still trying to figure out if he's left or right-footed. I don't know. I don't know what's his preferred foot because he can strike a ball with either foot and it's a rocket.
There's so much power.
Yeah, so I'm excited to see him play a little more. That's why I hope United don't get Sancho, just again for his development. Sancho is also a youngster, but bringing in Sancho can halt developments, Like bringing in that big signing can halt the development of a young prospect. So I hope he gets some game time. Sancho doesn't go to United, and like that's my 3.
Hey, that's a good pick, man. That's a good pick.
Let us know in the comments below what the 3 youngsters you're excited for this season.
Let us know, guys. Let us know. Also, yeah, I think we're gonna wrap our episode up here. Let us know 3 players in the comments, and thank you for always listening, and hit that subscribe and like button for our YouTube algorithm. And yeah, any closing remarks, Idris?
I don't have any. No. Just thank you for all our supporters. We keep doing this. We do this for you. So, and this is our 10th episode. Like it's been a run,
2 months. 2 months already.
So we're gonna keep pumping out some content for y'all. So thank you, everyone, and peace out.
Peace out, guys. Our 100th episode is going to be in London, England.
All right. Peace.
All right. Peace.
Enchanté.